One night at dinner, my sister asks everyone at the table, if you could, would you rather go back in time to visit the past or go forward and see what would happen to you in the future? Everyone quickly answers the same way. The past, they say. They would like to relive the best days of their lives, and they're optimistic enough about the future that they would like it to be a surprise. I, on the other hand, don't respond right away. Of course, I'd like to revisit amazing events from my life, finding out I got the lead in the school play, receiving the cheerleading scholarship, getting accepted to SUNY New Paltz, my first kiss. I would love to recapture those moments. But before I blurt out that I'd choose to go to the past, I stop myself and think for a minute. Maybe just having those memories is enough. I realize, as someone who battles depression, that it might be more beneficial to see into the future. It could reassure me that things will be okay. Bad days will happen, but that doesn't mean life will be disappointing. I'd love to know for sure that I'll finish college, get a great job, get married, and have kids. People tell me all the time, things will get better, things will get better, things will get better. But I want to know that for myself. Maybe this would help me combat my feelings of hopelessness. Growing up and into my early 20s, I'm always fairly confident about many aspects of my life. I'm great at making friends, I get good grades, and I see a bright future ahead of me as a high school social studies teacher. I have a long-term boyfriend who I assume I'll be with forever. Then, one night in 2013, everything changes. That night, my best friend and I meet at McDonald's for ice cream sundaes. At around 9:30, when we're done, I give her a hug, get into my Pathfinder, and drive around the restaurant to the exit. It's very dark. I have to make a right out of the parking lot to get home. I look at the red light and at the car in the distance coming in my direction. After thinking for a few seconds, I decide that I have time to make the turn ahead of the car. Apparently, the driver of the other car doesn't agree. I check my rearview mirror and notice the car pulling up right behind me. I begin to feel uneasy. Cautiously, I turn onto a road and the driver follows. I pick up speed and so does the driver. I stay on this main road for a little over a mile, keeping watch behind me, feeling very anxious. I slow down as I approach the road where I live and debate whether I should turn down it or keep driving. Nervously, I signal the turn and enter my road. The car behind me signals too, waits a few seconds, and then drives away. Holding back tears, I follow my long road home. I arrive at home and I feel like I can't leave the car. I look around the car to make sure I'm really alone and run into the house. I search around and there is no one downstairs. Slowly, I turn my head and look out a window and I see a man's face. Terrified, I duck down and hear my mom come downstairs. She sees me crouching in the corner and is concerned. I try to explain about the car and the face, but I'm out of breath and not making sense. My hallucination of the car and the face are all I can think of, and I'm still convinced they're real. My mom assures me that everything's okay, but I can't comprehend. She leads me to the couch, but I continue to stay low, avoiding all windows. She tells me that she will go outside and look to make me feel safer. By the time she comes back in, I'm paralyzed, staring intensely out a window. I can't find words. All that come out are whimpers and screeches. My mom has never seen me like this. She gives me medicine to help me relax and fall asleep. My mind is not clear, but I begin to feel tired. I fall asleep, knowing that this night will change my life. I don't know how mentally ill I am or how much things have changed until a few days later when I get home from Michael's craft store. I've always loved making things for people, so I decided to try making this kind of beaded bracelet from a kit. On the box, there's a picture of 2 young girls making the bracelets. I spend 2 hours trying to make one, but I can't do it. I become so discouraged that I spiral into days of depression and hopelessness. I've never felt this way before. It gets worse. The process of losing capabilities and skills progresses. Within a few weeks, I can barely read or write. That June, I'm hospitalized for the first time, for 1 week at Four Winds in Saratoga. It's my first time doing something like this, away from my family and friends, and it's scary. There's a girl there around my age who concerns me. She lashes out often, which is a big trigger for me. When I meet with a therapist assigned to me, I tell him about my worries. Well, trying not to think about it, he says. I'm sure you'll be fine. Really? That's his answer? I leave there without any diagnosis of anxiety, but my fears are not simply things that I can decide not to think about. If I could, why would I be in the hospital? A few weeks later, I begin an outpatient program at a different hospital. The first week is fine, but soon I begin to decline again. My antipsychotic medication has been switched 3 times in only a few weeks, and it's made me sicker. I begin to get worse than I had ever been, and the people running the program don't know what's wrong with me. When my mental health state reaches its worst, my mom and dad go with me to talk to the main doctor. He asks my parents to leave the room, then sits down. Is it boyfriend problems? He asks. I'm shocked and disgusted. That's the last day I attend the program. People who don't live with mental illness have a hard time understanding that's not an issue you can get over. It has so much to do with your brain and chemistry. You can have treatments like medication and therapy, which can help. But someone minimizing your experience or essentially telling you to get over it is offensive and frustrating. There are a few more hospitalizations, 5 in total. During the last one, in addition to feeling lonely, depressed, and constantly anxious, I'm also worried that I'm not calling my boyfriend enough to keep him happy. I wish I didn't feel guilty for not being there for him. I go to bed each night in the hospital with thoughts racing through my head, never feeling happy with myself. I think about the lines friends, family, doctors keep telling me, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. That Thanksgiving, that mantra finally becomes a reality. That's when I get the call that ends my 3.5-year relationship. Instead of being sad about it, I feel a great sense of empowerment. In my heart, I know it's time to focus on myself and my mental health over anything. After doing well, I'm discharged from McLean Hospital with a newfound inspiration and confidence in myself. That's my last hospital stay. My experience inspires me to reevaluate my goals. Previously, I had been an education major, but after being hospitalized and seeing a broad cornucopia of mental health issues, I decide that I'm destined to help people with mental illness, either as a therapist, social worker, or even speaking to educate about mental illness in young adults and empower those who suffer from it. I know how difficult the low points can be, but I also know how it feels to emerge with strength. Having hope is a crucial part of recovery. I have found hope, and now I want to give it to others.